Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 10th of February, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at currencies. We're seeing the dollar index has really been falling the last few days, so that dollar weakness starting to return. The long-term chart here, the weekly chart, we see that we are just continually in this downtrend all of the last year and bearish below the cloud. Here we see on the daily chart we're also bearish below the cloud. And on the short-term 60-minute, we're also bearish. So dollar weakness is returning as a theme. That means that the euro is looking stronger against the dollar, having had several weeks of just falling back. Found support right on the cloud there on the price, so that's looking good. And we are now aiming for this upside potential, potentially 2% higher on the short-term chart, and some big upside targets if we do make new highs. But we need to make new highs, so let's not worry about that at the moment. Sterling is really benefiting from that weaker dollar, and it's sitting at 138.50 this morning. So that's the highest level that we've seen really in a couple of years. So looking very strong there. And against the euro, we are also looking strong at 114.15. So sterling strength is a real theme there. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we're sitting at nearly $47,000 this morning, holding on to those gains that we've seen ever since Tesla announced their investment. And so looking very strong. We've got some good short-term targets here. The longer-term charts are really hard read. You've got to wait really for this column to lock, and then we'll have a big upside target potentially if we can pull back and then go higher. So that will be very interesting. The S&P 500 index is down slightly last night, but overall it's bullish above on all three time frames, bullish above the cloud. The same, of course, true for the Nasdaq. And we're seeing the futures this morning. The S&P future up 1/3%, and the Nasdaq E-mini up 0.5%. So it suggests that markets will open higher in the US. And the VIX volatility is up slightly, but sitting in these low 20s. This is a level where we don't really need to worry at all. For the last couple of weeks, ever since that jump, we've come back to an even lower level on the VIX. So we're looking the market's taking everything in their stride at the moment. The FTSE future is flat. The DAX cash in Germany is down 0.01%, so that's pretty flat. And the CAC Quarante is up 0.12%, also pretty flat. Still has work to do to break to new highs. Japan was up 0.25%, Hang Seng up 2%, and China continues its run up 1.5%. So looking strong here, pushing back, having pulled back there, pushing to new highs. Chinese market has got good upside targets. Another new one here, 22% higher. So for the first time in a long while, the Chinese market really looking good on a long-term basis. So Chinese stocks set to run. India pulled back a little bit, but it has had an amazing run really for the last several months, but we're pushed to new highs, and that's looking very strong. And the Aussie market was up 0.5% as well, so that's looking pretty good. Weaker dollar has been good for gold. We're seeing gold up nearly 0.4% bullish on the short term. Still has work to do on that medium term chart, but really pulling away. This thrust here will give us a new upside target, so keep an eye on that. The long term picture still pretty bullish, of course. Silver sitting at 27.36, so that's looking pretty strong as well on all three time frames, bullish even on the medium term chart. And if we look at copper, up another 1%, so it's looking to break much higher, looking very strong indeed. So that's also bullish. Good upside targets there too. US 10-year yields sitting at 1.16%. We're really just waiting for a break through the cloud here, but it's looking more and more likely. This 120 level is the level. We shouldn't be surprised to see the 120s broken soon. We've got 127 on the short-term chart and lots of target on the upside. So bond yields rising is almost a dead cert based on the number of targets to the upside that we have. Looking at the energy mix now, quite a lot of red on the screen in Europe this morning. Oil continues its run, sitting at Brent crude sitting at 61.27. Good upside targets there If we look at WTI, it's also looking higher, and US nat gas sitting at 276, so that's also looking like it's just pulling back at the moment, so not looking as strong on US nat gas. Coal is down this morning slightly, but really stuck in a very wide range between 64 and 72. If we look at emissions, we're down 1.3% this morning. Maybe a little bit of a mini head and shoulders building here, and we do have some downside targets, so we are seeing a little bit of a pullback on emissions. If we look at UK gas, we're down 3% this morning, so we have turned a corner on the 60-minute chart into bullish territory, but we are just pulling back. The cold weather pretty much priced in over the last week or so we are seeing a pullback on front month TTF as well. Winter gas, or seasonal gas, is actually the bigger one, and here we have seen the break, but we just struggled to break to a new high, so that is significant too. So watching that, we want to see seasonal gas above 18 euros ideally. That's the level that's been set. If we do that, then that is a clear indication that we're breaking higher, and that would activate this upside target to 21.27. Taking a look at power markets now, we've got German power pulling back a little bit this morning. We've got a couple of downside targets here, so it's just having a bit of a pullback on that mini run that we've seen. And Nordic power also just down 2% on the cow, pulling back to the cloud. Still bullish above the cloud, but for the moment we need to break to new highs. We do have a target to 31.60, but for the moment we're retracing. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.